Live from the Leaf Academy studios, this is Tuesdays with Schwartz, a podcast all about success in the 21st century. Every week we will bring to you one success story, success tips, and helpful resources for you. If you want to know how the 21st century works, the rules of the 21st century, and the success playbook, subscribe to this podcast and tune in every single week. This week, we will be taking a closer look at Deion Sanders, the head coach of the University of Colorado Buffaloes football team, and why he is taking the sports media by storm. For those that don't know, Deion Sanders, aka Prime Time, was a professional NFL and Major League Baseball player. He is a member of the NFL Hall of Fame and has been coaching football for around a decade. This is the first season that Prime Time is the head coach of the Buffaloes, who are now 3-2 on the season. Now, you might not think that's a good record, but the truth is the Colorado Buffaloes won only one game last year, and all of their losses weren't even close. In fact, most of their games they lost by an average of 20 points. So what makes Deion Sanders so successful, and why is everyone in the sports media talking about him? And the answer comes down to the performance formula. That's right, there's an actual formula for performance. So if you want to learn more about success in the 21st century, follow the links to Leaf Academy, the first online school that teaches people how to be successful. That's because we teach people how the 21st century works, the rules of the 21st century, and the success playbook. Now, what is the success formula? So here it is. Motivation plus skills plus confidence equals performance. So let's start with motivation. What does that mean? Deion Sanders has been posting every single week this tweet, win. Now, I've been posting on social media as well this post, believe. Why is Deion posting his tweet and why am I posting mine? It's for the same reason, and that's because I want to remind you about motivation. Because success starts with motivation. If you sit on the couch and dream about doing something, it's never going to happen for you. Dreams don't just appear out of nowhere. No, you have to actually get up off the couch and make your dreams a reality. That's why the formula starts with motivation. But what comes next? Skills. Now, Deion did something that no other coach in college football has ever done. Yes, he got rid of about 80% of his players from last year. You heard me, he cut nearly 80% of his student athletes from his roster. Can he even do that? Actually, he can. Because of new rules in the NCAA, Deion is completely allowed to do that, and because of those changes, his team is 3-2 this year instead of being 0-5. Now, changing a roster isn't enough. What Deion and his coaches are doing is teaching his players how to play football. And I know what you might be assuming, that college D1 recruits already know how to play football. But you'd be wrong about that. They know how to play peewee football and they know how to play high school football. But Deion wants them to play NFL football. And those players don't know how to do that. So that's why his coaches are forcing his players to practice how to be NFL type players, which is what the players want themselves. They want to learn the skills it takes to be in the NFL, because college football is just a stepping stone to the next level. Now, I want you to take a second look at your own life. Do you have the skills you need to reach your dreams? Not dream about them. Do you actually know what you need to do to get to the next level? Because I'm just going to tell you, no one is just going to find you to make it happen. You need to make it happen yourself. So knowing the skills is just not good enough. You really need to become the best at those skills. You need to practice some more. I started my social media channels in 2020. I knew what it took to make a successful podcast, for example, but I didn't really have the skills to do it. So I knew what it took, and I had to practice. And I think that I've actually made that work. If you don't believe me, after this podcast is over, go back and watch any one of my other podcast episodes, and I think you'll see a huge difference between this episode and any previous episodes. And that's what I want you to understand, is that even though you know the skills, you have to get good at them in order to get to the next level. Now, here's what happens once you get good at those skills. You build confidence. And that's the last piece of this formula. Motivation, skills, confidence equals performance. Because now that I'm confident in my skills to create the greatest podcast you're ever going to watch, I know I'm going to perform better than 90% of the people out there. I know this podcast is going to start to grow exponentially, because why wouldn't it? I'm going to give you a story about success every single week. I'm going to break it down for you why that person is successful. And I'm also going to give you tips and resources that you can use for your own life. If you're trying to be successful, if you're trying to outperform other people, then this is the podcast for you. So what are my tips for you? So I happen to be a performance coach. I'm also a consultant for businesses and schools. Now, I am a former teacher, principal, and superintendent, as well as a school business administrator. I've worked in 4 different careers in journalism, media, entertainment, politics, as well as education. So if you run a business or school, then you really need to complete the 21st century self-assessment checklist. Now, you can get them for free at the Leaf Academy website. Just go to the consulting page. They're right there. There's one for schools, one for businesses. If you're on Instagram, you can actually get them in the links in the bio. On any other platform, I'll put the links in the description. Now, why do you want to do those self-assessment checklists? Now, here's why. The school self-assessment checklist has 12 different categories that schools should be looking at, and these are the 100 questions that I ask in any first consulting call that I do with a school. That means that you're getting 100 questions plus a few hours of time with me, all for free and upfront. Therefore, there's no harm in downloading it and doing it. Like literally, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Now, if you're a business, there's 5 different categories that you can actually do the 100 questions in and figure out, do you have a problem in your school or your business? Because the problem that most schools and businesses have is that hidden problems become nightmares for the people running those organizations. If you're a superintendent and there's a hidden problem, you have a nightmare on your hands. And if you're a CEO or a business owner and there's something going on that you're not aware of, that could be preventing you from reaching your goals. So download the checklist, figure out what's going on in your business or school, and then start to make a plan going forward. Now, like I said, these self-assessment checklists are completely free. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain, and I hope that you enjoy them. Now, how's that for good? These checklists will uncover and potentially discover some weak areas in your school and business that might be holding you back from reaching your goals, and hidden problems can be nightmares. So here's the final thought. Let's recap. Deion is tweeting win, and I'm tweeting believe. And why are we doing that? For one reason, to remind you of motivation. You need to start with motivation, and that's because of this formula. Motivation plus skills plus confidence equals performance. I want to thank you for joining me this week. I will bring a new episode every single Tuesday right here on the same platform you found me. So take care and have a great week.